access anytime, day or night. So if you're ready to land a job close to home, make IllinoisJobPost.com your first stop. That's IllinoisJobPost.com. Brought to you by your friends at the regional radio stations.
From the Heart Media Group newsroom and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this expanded morning newscast. Good morning, and thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Ben Hubbard. The news is brought to you by Baum Chevy Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters, as well as Connexus, offering fiber internet in Clinton. Click their icon on DeWittDailyNews.com to find out more. Schools in Clinton are back in session this week, and local authorities are reminding motorists around school buildings in the community to be mindful of students walking, biking, or motoring to school, and to be especially mindful of school buses. Clinton Police Department School Resource Officer Cody Mayer reminds motorists that there are stiff penalties for motorists who disobey the signals of a school bus.
Yeah, Douglas will be just preschool this year. The main concern with Douglas every year, that's the highest amount of reports I get of people running school bus stop signs. Mm-hmm. Almost every single one I get comes from Douglas. It's Main Street right there in front of the school. Some people tell me they didn't think both lanes of traffic have to stop. Both lanes have to stop when that stop sign comes out. Mm-hmm. Also, people get in a rush and think, oh, it's not that big of a deal. Well, it is. A lot of people don't know that the state law for running that stop sign, if you're convicted, you get your driver's license suspended automatically. That's not even something the judge makes a decision on. It's the state statute for that. If you get convicted for running that stop sign on a school bus, your license is going to be taken away.
According to Officer Mayer, the first priority for local law enforcement is the safety of the kids and the workers around school buildings. He reminds that this includes the crossing guards who are helping students to get across the street and to and from school safely.
Everybody, including the people in this room, we're all more tired in the morning. It's, we haven't had our coffee or whatever caffeine source you use. So sometimes we're not on we're not quite 100% yet, but we need to be once school gets back in session. So whether that be slowing down a little bit more than normal, paying attention, keeping your head on a swivel, kind of get used to that, because everybody's seen a kid just go out into traffic. Sure. They're not paying attention because they're kids and they're tired still too. They're getting back into their routine. So we need to be paying attention to that, paying attention to school crossing guards. We get lots of complaints about people not obeying them as well. There's people that, even though they're out there with the stop sign up, they'll just, once the kids are across, they go. But the law for that states you have to wait for the crossing guard to get out of the road too. Right. Child safety obviously is our utmost importance with that law, but at the same time, we got to care about the safety of those people who are working that crossing guard job as well.
Officer Mayer encourages parents with students walking from building to building or to their homes to use crossing guards and crosswalks whenever possible.
Even though we have, our crossing guards placed at strategic places, there's going to be kids that go the way they want to go. Just pay attention to them. Some of them are small and they'll be hiding behind a car and just pop right out, someone parked on the side of the road that you can't see them coming out from behind. With that in mind, parents should know that they should be advising and instructing their children to go to the crossing guard. Don't just cross anywhere. That creates more danger in a high traffic area where people are, rushing, trying to get to work, trying to get to school, trying to do both at the same time, getting their kids to school and then get to work. So the parents and the kids need to be paying attention to that stuff as well.
When motorists approach a school bus, Officer Mayer says the biggest thing you want to be on the lookout for is the stop sign and red arm bar that pops out from the school bus. He emphasizes this means children are either entering or exiting the school bus.
So they have 3 different things on them. They have the yellow flashing lights, and then when they open the door or activate the arm, it'll put the stop arm and the red flashing lights. So a lot of people get confused because at pickup time, where it's time for dismissal, the buses will get there a few minutes early and they'll have the yellow flashers on. The yellow flashers mean proceed with caution. Okay. Because they may sit there for 5 minutes as they wait for dismissal to happen.
Sure.
As soon as those red lights come on and that stop arm comes out, you have to stop.
Okay. All right. Good.
And the only time it's not both ways is if it's a divided highway and we don't have a lot of buses stopping out on 51. That's the only place in the county where it wouldn't have to stop both lanes, but we don't pick up a lot there.
Officer Mayer encourages anyone who commutes through or around school zones to be mindful of the increased traffic that comes with school starting and find alternate routes to work if possible. He says the flow of traffic and ease of getting kids to and from school usually gets better after the first week or two of classes being in session. Coming up shortly on this expanded newscast, Social Security highlights recent changes due to direct deposit option. While the weather is still nice, a local historian is encouraging the community to join them on their walking tour series. Candace Summers, Senior Director of Education with the McLean County Museum of History, explains that the next opportunity to go on a downtown Bloomington architecture tour led by her is Thursday, August 20th at 5:30 p.m. She says they dive into the architecture itself and the history of the people and businesses that occupied those buildings.
Yeah, so we've already had one architecture walking tour around downtown Bloomington. We've done one of our Lincoln and downtown Bloomington tours, but we still have more coming. So we have another downtown Bloomington architecture tour on August 20th. Myself and one of our fantastic volunteers will be leading groups around downtown, so you can not just learn about the architectural history of the buildings, but so you can also learn about the history, the different businesses and industry that were in downtown, some of the tragedies that happened to some of these buildings downtown. There's been an awful lot of fires in downtown Bloomington. If it wasn't for the 1900 fire, though, we wouldn't have a lot of the buildings today, and they had the most modern, up-to-date technology used in them when they were built between 1901 and 1903. So really, thank you to having a great big downtown fire for, bringing in these different building materials that were fireproof at that time, and the different technology to make them more accessible. Elevators became more prevalent in the buildings in downtown Bloomington after the fire too. So a lot of little gems of history like that will be shared on the tour. Tickets for that tour are on sale now. You can get them at our website, makehistory.org. $15 for adults, $12 if you're a museum member, and $5 for students. And it starts at 5:30 on August 20th.
2 more opportunities are coming up to participate in the President Lincoln and downtown Bloomington walking tours on August 29th and September 12th. These cover our 16th president and his involvement in the local judicial system, as well as the people who helped him get nominated for his presidency.
We also have another Lincoln in downtown Bloomington, 2 more tours coming up, one on August 29th and one on September 12th. Those are Saturday tours, and those will begin at 1:30. So you will join Norris Porter, who is our development director and also assistant executive director, who is one of the most knowledgeable people on Lincoln that I know. And he'll be sharing the people Lincoln knew, the people he was associated with, the places that he went in downtown Bloomington, and the people who helped him get the nomination for the presidency. Hoping for cooler temps. The one in July was a little toasty, but hopefully those afternoon tours will be a little cooler and people can learn about the places Lincoln literally walked in downtown Bloomington.
Summers has received positive feedback on both of these walking tours from those who have participated. She says before Lincoln's presidency, Bloomington was likely the place he spent the most time in outside of his home in Springfield.
People have really enjoyed them. They like learning the history, about these places, about the people who were engaged with them, the technology that went into the buildings. Because I'll give her Lincoln. Everybody knows Lincoln, land of Lincoln, Illinois. A lot of people know, Springfield is where he lived, but they don't know about his happenings and his, the things he was involved with in other communities in central Illinois. Bloomington was probably the place he spent the most time outside of his home in Springfield than anywhere else before he became president.
Mm-hmm.
He spent a lot of time here, coming twice a year because he traveled the 8th Judicial Circuit as a lawyer. And so when he came here, he stayed with people like David Davis and Jesse Fell. He used law offices of lawyers all throughout downtown Bloomington as his law office while he was here. And then the building that I'm sitting in, the 4th McLean County Courthouse, is right there on the footprint of that Lincoln era courthouse.
Mm-hmm.
When you come in our building, we have a marker embedded in the concrete that denotes the boundary of that Lincoln era courthouse. So it's almost like you're kind of stepping back in time when you cross that boundary, because you really are walking in the footsteps of Lincoln. I mean, you dig down far enough in the streets of Bloomington, and they've been doing that this year because of all the downtown construction. You find that layer of bricks, and then further down, you find the dirt that would have been the streets, that Lincoln would have walked on. So it's really cool.
The McLean County Museum of History is teaming up with the Bloomington Public Library to host a traveling exhibit this September. We'll have more on that with Summers in the weeks ahead from the Heart Media Group. Learn more at mchistory.org or by finding their Facebook page. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. Let's take a quick break with a word from our sponsors.
Baum Chevrolet Buick offers full transportation options while giving you peace of mind. This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick here in Clinton. This is what we do every day. We listen to you, give you options for routine maintenance, major mechanical problems, or collision repairs with a staff that's knowledgeable to find the best option for you. Baum Chevrolet Buick, your full-service dealer. See us at baumchevybuick.com right from the start.
In the communities we call home, connection means something more. That's why Connexus Fiber Internet combines the strength of a locally owned network with support from people who call this community home. The internet that powers your day should be built with the same care as the community around you. Connexus provides the speed you want, reliability you need, and the service you expect from neighbors who live here too. Luxury speed, hometown heart. Nothing connects us like Connexus.
News time is 21 minutes after the top of the hour. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. The Security Authentication PIN, or SAP, feature is an especially convenient option for my Social Security account holders who need to change direct deposit information. This optional feature is designed to make the identity verification process faster, and Jack Myers with Social Security indicates it is more secure when calling the national 800 number, 800-772-1213, or a local Social Security office.
Yeah, so this is kind of an interesting feature, and it to understand the significance of it, I think we need to talk a little bit about some changes that aren't really new at this point. They've occurred over a year ago, but basically, when it comes to changing direct deposit, there are only a certain number of ways you can do that. So if you're getting benefits from Social Security and you need to change the bank account to which they're delivered, we used to do that over the phone. But there are only so many questions we can ask you over the phone to confirm your identity. And unfortunately, there was a trend developing where bad actors had figured out ways to get the answers to those questions. And, the occurrences of fraud just got to the point where we could no longer do that over the phone. We just didn't feel that we could be 100% confident that we had the right person on the phone to be able to make those direct deposit changes, because it's such an important issue. You're talking about where a person's money is being delivered. And if a change is made fraudulently, then you don't get your check. So that's a big deal. So we stopped doing that over the phone. Now what you do is you either have to come into an office to change it in person with identification, or you can do it through your My Social Security account, because there are additional levels of authentication before you can get access to your account.
According to Myers, direct deposit changes can no longer be done over the phone. You will either have to do it online through your My Social Security account, which is only possible if you receive Social Security. This excludes SSI, or if you would have to visit an office in person. Additionally, online direct deposit changes take longer to become effective. It will show you online when it will be effective, but it is generally 1 to 2 months later. He adds, if you need it changed sooner, visiting an office or using the SAP is the way to go.
If you're getting SSI, supplemental security income, you can't do that online. So your only option would be through the in-person visit. Additionally, even if you're getting Social Security, when you make the change in direct deposit online, it's going to be delayed like 1 to 2 months. And it'll tell you when you make the change when it's going to become effective. But it takes longer for it to go through when you do it online. So a way to kind of combat those two issues is if you get on the phone with us and you go to ssa.gov/PIN, PIN, that's going to prompt you to log into your My Social Security account. Once you log into that account, it'll give you an option if you do it through that specific URL, ssa.gov/PIN. When you log into your account and authenticate yourself that way, it'll give you an option to generate a code. You can give us that code over the phone, and then we can go ahead and change your direct deposit information over the phone. So it's not all that widely known, but it is a real good option for somebody who wants to make a direct deposit change over the phone because they can't come into the office, or it's just not convenient to come into the office, or maybe you don't want to wait as long as it would otherwise take for the change to go through online. You can give us a call, use that security pin option, and we can push that change through just as quickly as we could if you were standing right in front of us in the office.
Myers stresses this is not a requirement, and if you do not have a My Social Security account or choose not to use the SAP, Social Security will verify your identity over the phone using the existing verification process.
Definitely not. It is not required. It would only be required if you want to make the change over the phone. If you're okay with walking into an office or making an appointment and coming into an office, you don't need to worry about that PIN stuff. If you get Social Security benefits, you can do the change online without calling us. That's great for someone who's just changing their bank account and they still have access to the old account, and there's not a real hurry because they're still closing out stuff with the old account. Go ahead and just do it online. Log into your account, do the change if you want. You can wait the month or two, no big deal. But if you've had some issue with your account and you've had to close it and it's a little bit more urgent to get that change done faster, the PIN is an option, or again, you could just come into an office and do it in person.
Myers reminds that those URLs for more information are ssa.gov/mysocialsecurity and ssa.gov/PIN. The national number is 800-772-1213. Taking a look at some local rainfall totals from Friday to Saturday, or I should say Saturday to Sunday, it was, courtesy of Coco Roz. Right here are in Clinton. I see 2.45 inches of rain on Saturday, and near Farmer City in the eastern part of DeWitt County, 2.45 and 2.71 inches of rain reporting. If we head a little bit further north, McLean County got hit pretty hard. Southern McLean County, I'm seeing 3 inches, a little more, 3.3 inches of rain reported, 4.17 inches of rain reported in Hayworth. But as we get into Bloomington, 5.36 inches of rain reported, 6.64 inches of rain reported in the central part of Bloomington, and on the west side of Bloomington, 6.03. So a half a foot of rain in Bloomington and just slightly less in Normal, 4.13, 3.9 inches of rain as you get a little further north. Under 3, 2.93 on the northwest side of Normal, and then 2.95 close to Hudson. So much of McLean County hit pretty hard with that weather on Saturday. Looking to the east of DeWitt County in Piatt County, Monticello receiving 1.8 inches of rain, 2.4 inches of rain, and 2.3 inches on the west side of Piatt County, south of Cisco. On the northern part of Piatt County near Mansfield, 2.11 inches of rain reported, 2.03 inches of rain reported as well. And in Decatur, only seeing around 1.7 inches, but as on the Macon and Logan County border around Warrensburg-Latham area, I see 2.5 inches of rain. And then getting up into Lincoln, around 2 inches, just under 1.93 inches of rain reported in Lincoln. And on the northern part of Logan County, east of Hartsburg, 2.11 inches of rain reported there. But yeah, mostly Bloomington and McLean County getting hit hard, as well as the Rantoul area north of Champaign, a little bit more than 4 inches of rain up there as well. Get news anytime from your computer or mobile device at DeWittDailyNews.com.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. Indiana is mourning the loss of 7 people, including a 4-year-old boy, in historic flooding that was triggered by days of torrential rains. After battering Hawaii, Hurricane Lala weakened to a tropical storm, leaving behind damaged infrastructure, homes and businesses wrecked, and hundreds of thousands of power outages. Mideast negotiator Jared Kushner is meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu and follows Kushner's sit-down with the Hamas chief in Egypt. President Trump has ordered a scaling back of the traditional joint U.S.-South Korea military exercises now underway. The president says he has a good relationship with North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un, adding that the exercises send an inappropriate message to Pyongyang. The Dow futures down 98 points, while the NASDAQ futures are up 149. More details, srnnews.com.
I'm not one to say I told you so, but I switched to Pure Talk over a year ago, and ever since, I've been telling people there's no better wireless company out there. Well, a few months ago, a massive survey was conducted. 123,000 people were asked to rate their wireless carrier in 4 categories: coverage, support, data, and overall value. Well, the results are in. Guess which wireless company was the only wireless company to get 5 stars in every category? Yeah, Pure Talk. 5 stars, every category. To celebrate, Pure Talk is offering the first 3 months of any plan for just $15 a month, including their top-tier unlimited plan. No contract, no commitment, just a very inexpensive way to test drive the only American wireless company with 5 stars in every category. Just dial pound 250, say micro, and Pure Talk's U.S. customer service will take it from there. Again, pound 250 micro. And yes, I told you so.
From the Hart Media Group Sports Desk, IL Sports Wire, and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this local sports report. Munatetka Murakami hit a go-ahead homer in the 7th inning, and the Chicago White Sox rallied for a 7-5 win over the Detroit Tigers on Sunday to complete a 3-game sweep. Chicago trailed 3-0 and 4-1, but scored twice in the 5th and once in the 6th to tie the game. Tyler Holton is 1-5 and walked Sam Antonacci to start the 7th, and Murakami followed with his 28th homer of the season to put the White Sox up 6-4.
1-1. Hit in the air to left. It is deep. Back on it, Malcheri. This baby will go. A 2-run homer to the opposite way. And the Sox lead 6-4.
The White Sox now lead Detroit by 5.5 games in the AL Central. Hagen Smith is 2-0 and went 1 2/3 innings for the win. And Sean Newcomb pitched the final 2 innings for his 4th save.
Full count on Dylan Dingler. The pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. It's a sweep. And the White Sox push the Tigers to 5.5 games out. What a weekend.
Detroit left fielder Brett Callahan, making his major league debut, tripled and drove in 2 runs on the first pitch of his career. helping Detroit take a 3-0 lead in the second. Antonacci's RBI groundout made it 3-1 in the third.
With a runner at third and one out, infield back except for McGonigal, and he hits a chopper to the first baseman. Torkelson will take it to the bag. A run scores. It's 3-1. And Antonacci picks up his 36th RBI, so they cash in that leadoff double.
Colt Keith led off the bottom of the inning with a homer to make it 4-1. Drew Romo's 2-run homer pulled the White Sox within 4-3 in the fifth, and Colson Montgomery's RBI single tied it in the sixth.
And on first, nobody out. Pitch to Romo. Hit in the air, right field corner, way back there. It's a 2-run homer. And they're within a run. It's 4-3. Most of Holton's big league career spent here in Detroit. Did make 10 appearances with the Diamondbacks in 22. Swinging a fly ball out into deep center field. Back on it is Max Clark. It's over his head. Grichuk on his way to second with another double. Another 2-2. A swing and a base hit. Ground ball through the middle. Here's Grichuk crossing home plate. It's 4-4.
Detroit's Dylan Dingler snapped an 0-for-28 streak with an RBI double to make it 6-5 in the seventh. Miguel Vargas homered in the ninth.
Swing and a drive. Deep left. It is out of here. 7-5. That's a big one for Vargas.
High and goodbye. That one tomahawked out of here.
Murakami and Hagen Smith had flashed the leather in the Sox win on Sunday.
1-2. Lined, and Smith caught it.
Wow.
Boy, he lined that right into the stomach of Hagen Smith, who cradled it for the first out.
Well, he got in the way of that one and held on to it somehow. Great reflexes. It hurt. But if he's not in the way of this one, they have the lead.
Swinging a ground ball. Backhanded by Murakami. Underhand flip to Newcomb at the bag. They got him.
Perfect. Perfect backhand and flip and timing by the pitcher. Well done.
The White Sox returned to Chicago for a 3-game series at Wrigley Field. Right-hander Luis Castillo is 4-9 with a 4.96 ERA and is scheduled to start Monday against Cubs lefty Shoto Imanaga, who is 8-9 with a 3.74 ERA. Hear Monday and Tuesday's action on WHOW. Alec Burleson and Jordan Walker both homered and finished with 3 hits and 4 RBIs, and the St. Louis Cardinals pounded the Chicago Cubs 11-4 on Sunday for a second straight win at Wrigley Field. Burleson has homered in consecutive games, boosting his total to 21 to tie his career high. Walker's drive, his 24th, was just the second in 30 games for the All-Star right fielder and capped the Cardinals' 6-run fourth inning. Walker doubled twice and Burleson once to help St. Louis cruise to its 5th win in 7 games. Joshua Baez, who became the first player to hit 3 homers in his first 3 at-bats in the major leagues on Saturday, went 0 for 5 with 3 strikeouts. Pete Crow Armstrong cracked his 28th homer, a 2-run shot. Miguel Amaya added a solo drive in the 9th as Chicago lost for the 3rd time in 4 games. Cubs shortstop Dansby Swanson left the game after hurting himself when he swung and missed on the first pitch from Cardinals starter Hunter Dobbins in the 3rd. Cubs manager Craig Counsell said Swanson would have an MRI today, but believed the 2-time Gold Glove winner had sustained a left oblique injury that will land him on the injured list. Dobbins, who is 3-3, allowed 2 runs on 2 hits through 5 innings, striking out 7 and walking 4. 3 relievers followed. Cubs starter Edward Cabrera, who is 5-5, struggled after coming off the injured list for his first start since June 23rd, when he suffered a left hamstring and adductor strain against the Mets in New York. To make room on the roster, the Cubs optioned right-hander Javier Assad to AAA Iowa. Cabrera was rocked for 7 runs on 6 hits in 3 2/3 innings. He walked 3, all in the 4th, and all scored in the Cardinals' 6-run rally. Burleson launched a sinker deep into the right field bleachers for a 2-0 St. Louis lead in the 1st. The Cardinals upped it to a 3-0 lead, then blew it open in the 4th. Burleson had a 2-run single, and Walker had a 2-run shot to center in the rally. Cardinals lefty Quinn Matthews is 0-1 with a 3.6 ERA and will be called from AAA Memphis to start for the first game of a doubleheader at Cincinnati on Monday and face Reds right-hander Rhett Lauder, who is 4-8 with a 5.15 ERA. Right-hander Andre Palante is 12-6 with a 3.46 ERA and will start the second for the Cardinals. Cubs lefty Shoto Imanaga is